Ferrari had dominated GT racing so thoroughly that challenging them was not just difficult, it was considered foolish. Then Carroll Shelby built just 6 cars with a shape so strange the European establishment laughed at them. Those 6 cars won the 1965 FIA GT Manufacturers Championship, making Shelby the first American constructor to ever claim that title. And the very thing Ferrari mocked about the Daytona Coupe was the reason it beat them. In early 1964, Shelby American faced a physical barrier that raw horsepower simply could not overcome. The team's open-top Cobra Roadster was a dominant force on short, twisty American tracks, but European endurance racing demanded a completely different breed of speed. On the massive 3-mile-long Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans, the open Cobra hit a literal aerodynamic wall. Its blunt nose and open cockpit created massive turbulent drag, capping its top speed at just 165 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Enzo Ferrari's legendary 250 GTO ruled these high-speed straights. With a sleek, closed cabin shape and a refined V12 engine, the GTO regularly clocked 178 miles per hour. It stood as a masterpiece of aerodynamic design and the undisputed benchmark of world GT racing. To challenge this entrenched European dominance, Carroll Shelby realized he had to change his strategy. He did not need more power, he had to slice through the air. The project was conceived with one explicit target: to defeat the 250 GTO at its own game. Shelby believed a closed cabin coupe could resolve the Roadster's fatal aerodynamic weakness, but Shelby American was an independent, underfunded team challenging an established titan. Contractual and financial constraints limited the entire program to just 6 Daytona Coupes. With such a minuscule production run, there was no safety net or room for error. Every single hand-assembled aluminum chassis had to perform flawlessly, carrying the high-stakes weight of America's first direct campaign to break Ferrari's stranglehold on global motorsport. When Peter Brock's creation arrived in Europe, the established racing elite reacted with open amusement. Italian motor journalists looked at the blunt tail machine and saw an awkward, bulky hatchback rather than a serious grand tourer. The prominent Italian weekly, Autosprint, ran tongue-in-cheek headlines ridiculing the car's complete lack of traditional GT elegance. To the European racing world, a fast car had to be beautiful, long, and flowing. Brock's design looked like a crude, unproven experiment. In Maranello, Enzo Ferrari and his team dismissed the challenger out of hand. Ferrari's supreme confidence was anchored in years of dominance and the unmatched pedigree of the 250 GTO. To them, the Americans were amateurs. Ferrari team manager Romolo Tavoni publicly declared the closed-cabin Cobra a mere novelty, insisting it could never threaten the proven performance and beauty of their V12. Behind closed doors, internal memos instructed Ferrari's racing division to ignore the project, labeling the car a toy with a roof. Journalist Denise Jenkinson reported Enzo Ferrari's own dry assessment that the Americans were still learning the language of speed. This institutional disdain set a clear boundary. The European establishment stood secure in its prestige, confident that American grit would crumble when matched against sophisticated Italian pedigree. Peter Brock did not look at the styling of contemporary European sports cars, he looked at physics. Armed with sketches and an understanding of German aerodynamicist Wunibald Kamm's theories, Brock approached the chassis as a pure exercise in fluid dynamics. To bypass the aerodynamic wall that halted the open-top Roadster, he drafted a body that broke every aesthetic rule of the era. He lowered the nose, raked the windshield sharply back, and chopped the tail off in an abrupt, flat, vertical drop. This truncated rear end, known as the camtail, was designed to keep the boundary layer clean and minimize the massive, low-pressure pocket of turbulent air that dragged behind traditional roadsters. Carroll Shelby backed the engineering but demanded proof. On August 23, 1964, the prototype chassis, designated CSX-2287, rolled onto the pavement at Riverside for its first head-to-head test against Shelby's own proven Cobra Roadster. The stopwatch delivered immediate validation. Running the exact same Ford V8 engine, the coupe ran a lap time of 1 minute and 34.6 seconds, which was a full 1.2 seconds faster than the open-top car. Wind tunnel testing at the University of Michigan confirmed a drop in the drag coefficient from 0.45 to 0.41. This efficiency gain pushed the projected top speed from 165 miles per hour to over 185 miles per hour. The massive speed increase did not require a single extra horsepower. Brock's work turned the car from a mocked experiment into a deadly efficient weapon of speed. The stopwatch at Riverside was only the beginning. To force Ferrari's hand, Shelby American had to translate aerodynamic theory into cold, hard race results. They took the fight directly to the world stage, starting at the 1965 Daytona Continental. The Daytona Coupe stormed the banks, securing a critical class victory and proving the car's high-speed durability. Next came the brutal 12 hours of Sebring on March 13th. Under the blistering Florida sun, the Coupe grabbed the class pole with a blistering 2-minute 55.2-second lap. During the race, flawless pit execution and systematic preparation kept the cars on track while the Ferrari crews faltered under mechanical strain. The Daytona Coupe crossed the line first in class, banking another 10 points for the American team. But the ultimate test of Brock's aerodynamic gamble remained the high-speed straights of Europe. At the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where the Mulsanne Straight had previously choked the open-top roadsters, the Coupe sliced through the air at over 200 miles per hour. Shelby's drivers pushed the streamlined machines past the 200 miles per hour barrier, capturing the GT class victory. With only 6 hand-built chassis in existence, Shelby American could not afford a single logistical error. Every pit stop had to be perfect. Every engine had to be pushed to its absolute limit without breaking. Through meticulous preparation and disciplined race execution, the underfunded American team converted their aerodynamic advantage into a relentless point-scoring campaign, building an unstoppable wave of momentum that was rapidly closing the gap on Maranello. The relentless points campaign came to a head on July 4, 1965, at Reims. Shelby American secured the FIA International GT Manufacturers Championship in the Premier GT3 class, defeating Maranello by 19 points. This historic victory was the first world motorsport title ever won by an American constructor. Enzo Ferrari, facing a public defeat on the global Grand Touring stage, chose a tactical retreat. Rather than risk direct competition late in the season, Ferrari officially withdrew the 250 GTO from GT competition, shifting his factory resources entirely to the prototype category. By conceding the GT3 grid, Ferrari's proud racing division quietly acknowledged that the American challenger could no longer be dismissed. Peter Brock's radical aerodynamic shape and Carroll Shelby's grit had forced the European racing establishment to yield, turning a once-mocked American experiment into an official, undisputed world champion. The crown belonged to Shelby. The Daytona Coupe redefined the mechanics of global motorsport. By proving that calculated aerodynamics and rigorous preparation could dismantle decades of European racing prestige, the car permanently altered how manufacturers designed Grand Tourers. This victory broke Maranello's monopoly, proving that an independent American team could conquer the physics of high-speed endurance. The engineering lessons forged within these 6 hand-built chassis directly shaped Ford's upcoming GT40 program, laying the groundwork for America's future victories at Le Mans. It remains one of the most significant American race cars ever built, the moment raw data defeated tradition. Today, those 6 radical coupes are priceless masterpieces. Yet their true legacy remains a warning to the establishment: dominance is never permanent. They proved that ingenuity and defiance can shatter any dynasty. True genius always looks strange until it wins. Subscribe for more legendary motorsport stories.